good to hear. Jumping right back in.
Gonna throw down the band's skin real quick. Get right on back to picking things. We'll see if that Karma pick was a real pick, or if they just like getting us commentators a little extra excited.
Alright, so we had that Malphite, and then we... Alright!
Woo!
Wow, so they...
I'm excited. Karma has never been played before in a competitive Dominion tournament. Never once in tournament play in 356 games worth of Dominion has she appeared. At least,
pretty crazy.
to my knowledge, in the records. The records are incomplete. She might have been in there in some early NESL conflict on the Crystal Star, but from post-game screens I've seen, that's Shishwani. What's going on, Shobra?
Hey, I mean, I'm all down for innovation. I'm all down for creativity. Love to see that, but at the same time, this might be a little bit too much to handle. I mean, I don't even know if I remember these champion names. You know, don't see them that often. I might slip up. Kind of keeping us on our toes. I like it. But as we mentioned, we've talked about Karma before, especially when there was that incident when I believe Zemike was completely banned out of support champions, and we were like, man, is this the time to pull out some Karma play? And instead Zemike went for Zyra that game. But we discussed, you know, kind of the viability, what Karma can do, and Karma is definitely underappreciated. I mean, it's kind of the biggest problem is that she needs a lot of mana, but on the Crystal Scar it's not as bad as Summoner's Rift. So you get that a little bit figured out, and then if you have some good team synergy, she could be an absolute powerhouse. We'll see what else they go with. So maybe with Alistar, but I was gonna say with Corki, and then Brand was the next highlight I saw. Definitely not exactly, you know, they don't mesh that well, because you want someone kind of tanky to initiate with their actual characters so that you can then put that shield on and then heal them with some mass AoE. We are seeing the next two locked in.
I just got an active game not found error.
It should be fine. I just got it too, but that's been happening since a couple patches ago, but usually you can still get in, so hopefully nothing too funky happens right there.
Alright, and on the trails behind that Alistar and Brand, we're seeing No God try Science shuffling through champions, and Metal Fenrir yet to highlight anything so far. Let's see what he opts to go for. I like the Aurelia pick. She brings in some a little bit of true damage, helps her chip away at enemy champions. She's also a really sustainable character too. And with Sona around as well, I think that's going to be a really good combination. We're seeing a Maokai and Rumble highlight. We've seen Rumble played by Lurch in a lot of games previously, so we know what Rumble is capable of. Very good AP champion. And Maokai, I expect we'll see some bottom lane Maokai. Maokai's a good bottom lane champion. He's got sustain, he's got durability. Go away, active game not found error.
And then we are looking at Skarner being highlighted. So quite a few things, if Skarner locks in, quite a few things that we're not used to seeing. But as you mentioned, the blue team is looking quite formidable. Malphite to begin with alone is really strong. I really, I feel kind of needs some more time to get picked up, but you know, if she hits her stride, she's definitely a strong character. But at the same time, I think she can be shut down quite well, in that she's not gonna snowball into a strong position. But then we do have Maokai and Sona to be able to kind of back the team up. A Rumble, of course, that equalizer is absolutely devastating, especially if you get it, you know, perfectly with Malphite's ult. They're just gonna sit there more than they want to. They're gonna be slow. They're gonna have the burst alongside the dot. It's gonna be a lot of AoE damage. On the flip side, we do have Skarner locked in, so it's gonna really come down to Alistar and Skarner's initiation. Karma's really gonna be able to help keep them alive, and maybe even the carries if the fight goes on longer. But at, you know, Brand's a little bit of a toss-up, because you're tempted to build him Glass Cannon because he can do so much damage, but at the same time, then he doesn't have any sort of mobility, so he could just be taken out if they have gap closers, which we have quite a few of.
I'm waiting for this last little bit of seconds here to tick down so I can start talking about the champion spells. I'm kind of excited to see the Corki pick because of the way Corki is sort of anti-armor, and as I mentioned a little earlier on, defensive stats and being sort of tanky, quote unquote, is sort of the popular thing to have right now. And Corky kind of operates a little bit counter to that with his passive. And I believe he has the armor reduction on his. I can't remember what the ability is called. I'd have to load into the game and look at it. But I think that's going to combine pretty well in this game mode. And now that we're at the spectator delay, see a couple of ignites over on Beware Tall Grass's side. And I think that's going to help them out in dealing with Sona, because if they drop an ignite on their focus target, then Sona's not really going to be as effective as at keeping them up, especially if that focus target happens to be Irelia, because that shuts down that combined sustain pretty hard.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same, I mean, I don't know. So what I really like is that Corky took exhaust, because once he gets targeted, while he has the ability to fly away, if they jump with him, if they follow through, if the targeting timing is kind of off, not in favor of Corky, he's still gonna be just stuck with this Malphite, stuck with this Irelia. You have that exhaust, you can put that on them, jump out, and then keep kiting. Of course, Corky really, really good at kiting enemy champions, has a lot of utility with that, especially if you get a phage or whatever that builds out of a phage. It's going to be very beneficial. Other than that, we do see revive on everyone, so that's of course great to see. For those of you who are new to Dominion, very, very dominant summoner spell, kind of compared to Flash on Summoner's Rift. And outside of that, I don't think, I mean, I really just have to wait. The champion picks are what's really throwing us off, and we can't really tell what's going to happen until the game picks up as we wait on this extra minute.
Sometimes I wish I could fast forward through this little delay period here. And I want to touch back on Karma again. I know, Chober, you elaborated on her just a moment ago, but I'm a big fan of Karma's speed increase and decrease that she has. I think that's probably, well, I don't know what's rated or overrated about her, but I think that's one of my favorite things about her, is her ability to decide, well, I can buff an ally or I can debuff an enemy. And the line effect of it, I think, is going to be a little bit easier to actually use. That's one of the things that I don't see be very effective, is the fact that if something crosses through that line, it suffers an effect. But there's usually so much area to move around her. However, with all of the narrow pathways that there are here, I feel like you might be able to clip some people with that when on Summoner's Rift you wouldn't be able to. So it'll be interesting to see how that is used, if it's used, to sort of zone positions and locations out.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's something you always have to remember, that the map definitely affects how champions are used. Just the pathways, the fact that there isn't a wider jungle, the fact that it's smaller, of course, is the biggest thing. But the pathways tend to be narrower also. So we will see how that plays out as we jump in. Once again, this is Dominate Dominion number 20. Chober here, going to be casting as your host. On the blue side, we have, if I remember correctly, it's AMPUT. That is their acronym, and their full team name is
Amputees.
Amputees. Yes, Amputees is going to be on the blue team. On the top of the screen, we have Hammerhand on Malphite, Azizo 2000 on Aurelia, Shaboinker on Sona, Metal Fenrir on Maokai, and No God Tri-Science on Rumble. Who do we have on the other side?
On the bottom half of the map, we have Beware Tall Grass's team. We have Nautassin on Karma, Kless on Corky, Dusakar on Alistar, um, is that an I or an L?
I was
You know?
just thinking that. I have no idea.
Ibxlone, that's gonna be a hard one. Playing as Brand, and Jiggly the Puff playing as Skarner. These are two new teams to the DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion tournament. This is the 20th installment of that. And these are two new teams, but these are some of the usual suspects from the chat. Hammerhead, Shaboinker, Metal Fenrir, No God, Tri-Science, Nautasan, Kless, Dusakar, Jiggly the Puff, all people I've seen in there If the other ones have been in, I'm sorry they didn't recognize you immediately. There's like 140 people seeing these initial items being bought right now. Rumble going crazy, shooting his missiles and stuff off at the very beginning. Seeing Brand opting for a Chalice first. I fully expect that to turn into an Athene's, and for him to just kind of rock out with his getting that mana back. Maokai opting to open with a Catalyst going bottom lane. He really doesn't need those boots, so he can't afford to do that. It just further increases his early game sustain when he does so, and everything else looking kind of standard. It looks like Rumble could be going for a Haunting Guise off the bat. You're seeing the Ruby Crystal? I can just mouse over it. Seeing the Ruby Crystal and the Amplifying Tome there from him. We're seeing a Prospector's Ring out of Malphite. That's a little interesting. Guess he really likes that mana ring. He wants some of that extra damage. And there's a pause. Probably just a connection issue.
Yep, there we go. So hopefully reconnect really quick. This pause function, of course, is an absolute savior to a lot of these tournaments, as we used to have no control over this.
I like the nice sepia tone that it gives. Oh, hey, let's take this opportunity to turn the KDR on. There we go. Not missing a beat on that. Currently see that Karma's in the lead with 0 kills. Tied for first place with Corky, who also has 0 kills.
Karma really showing us what she's capable of. We do see that Shaboinkers has reconnected, so there we go. Play will resume. And then we still have to wait a few seconds. Again, for those of you guys who are new around these parts, this is Dominate Dominion. In between, we'll let you know how you can find out more about Dominate Dominion. Of course, you can just ask in chat. We have some of the admins and such available there. We do have another pause, so it looks like there's still some lingering problems. But also for today, as you might be able to see at the top title, if you just joined recently or refreshed, we are giving away a Full Metal Rammus skin at 250 viewers. Excellent skin, so you know, if you ever want to tell your friends about this tournament, this awesome tournament, today is the day. Bring them over and let's get the show going.
Yeah, bring your friends over. You definitely want that Full Metal Rammus skin. When he hits his ultimate, when he hits Tremors, little saw blades come up out of the ground. It's really cool, the animations that they have for him when he's using his the speed increasing thing. Why can't I remember that? I have a friend that plays a lot of Rammus. This is why it's embarrassing. But when he uses his Powerball, yes, that's right. Thank you, Chobra. When he uses Powerball, it creates sparks, and it just like he's grinding like a saw. It's one of the coolest skins in the game. 250 viewers. If we hit that number, we will give that away. So tell your friends, bring them on down if they've never checked out Dominion before. You know, this is the place to go. DominateDominion.com is the website. Check us out, Facebook.com/DominateDominion. On Twitter, it's @DominateDom. The in-game chat channel, North America server. It's called Dominate Dominion, and if you're on Europe, the chat channel is just called Dominion. So if you got friends over there, there's a pretty active Dominion community across the pond, as it were. It's a pretty big pond, man. It's almost as big as an ocean. Play resuming, and just a couple more seconds before we get this thing rolling.
Alright, so we're almost there. Hopefully no more lingering problems. Doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, I had to say it.
You jinxed it, Chobra.
Alright, so we're going to wait just a tad bit more. Once again, as you see on screen, you can find us on Twitter. There's, of course, the Dominate Dominion Twitter. Chobra LOL is mine. My tag is Chobra. And then Gander can be found on his clan's Twitter at VatoClan. And the Facebook is right there, facebook.com/Dominate Dominion. This is a round 1 matchup between amputees and Beware Tall Grass. And today, if the bracket was linked in chat a little bit ago, so you can follow along yourself. This is the only first round match, and then we'll be jumping right into the quarterfinals as we move down the bracket.
Yeah, this is the round of 16 game, and after this, we're gonna kick over to the lower half of the bracket. After this, we're gonna cover Feel the Vibe versus Yomi. I'm really excited to see Yomi back. That's Water D103's team. They've been off and on, in and out of competition for quite a long time, so I missed being able to cast them the last time they played, so made sure to put them on the schedule this time. And then we're going to follow that side of the bracket all the way up to the finals over there, and on that side of the bracket is Point Defense as well is over there, so hopefully we will see them get some screen time while Blind Pick Banditos hit their 100th game played in a competitive setting for Dominion. Last week, point defense is still, I believe, 6 games away from hitting their 100 mark as well. So it'll be exciting to see how far they go in that tournament and when they're going to reach that. But looking back at this game, however, Chober, what side of the map are you on? Are you on the left or right side with your camera?
I am actually stuck on the right side.
Oh, so you see red team over there, right?
Yes.
Who does it look like they have going bottom?
Skarner is the one standing towards the bottom. No movement has been made by him, but everyone else is heading top, so it's going to be a Skarner bot lane.
And I was looking at that on the minimap, and I couldn't quite tell, so I'm glad your camera was over on that side. Mine's on the left side. And it looks like I was right. Maokai is going to be going down there, and I'm looking at Jiggly the Puff having that Ignite, and normally you would take Revive Garrison down there because bottom lane, you just want bottom lane to be consistent. You want it to just be the solid foundation which supports the entire upper end of the map, because when things go wrong on the bottom, it brings attention down from the top, which weakens their presence up at the windmill or the drill or the refinery or just anywhere up there in the map in general. And seeing him run that Ignite over Garrison kind of made me think for a minute. I'm like, well, if he doesn't have Garrison, then he's not going to have that clutch Revive Garrison, quick comeback, freeze the tower, everything's cool. But I think that he might be reading it as, well, I'm going to want to go for ganks on Maokai because I know how durable and sustainable Maokai is. So I think that Skarner's going to hang out. He's going to want to get that level 6. He's going to bring someone down, and then he's going to go for some ganks to try and push that lane and put Maokai behind that way. I think that might be what he's going for there.
We'll have to wait and see. We're going to take a quick break, guys, as we wait for a more detailed update, hopefully, or just the game to start. Hopefully there aren't any big tech issues with Shaboinker's client or computer. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is Dominate Dominion number 20, a round 1 matchup between amputees and Beware Tallgrass.
You've asked for it, you've begged for it, now you're going to get it.
of soldiers whose mission it is to establish and preserve freedom and justice.
Alrighty, we have begun, as far as I can tell, and we haven't paused. So yes, game is now live for round 1 of Dominate Dominion number 20, and we see both teams moving right on up to the windmill. Quite standard starting here, and we're gonna see the poke war begin.
A little bit of a poke there by Sona. Sona, who does have a decent range on that ability, but the fact that it auto targets does make it sometimes hard to deploy. Brand with that AoE, you don't want to get too clustered up there, because that's just more damage for your team. Malphite getting kicked back out of the fight there. Corki unloading. It's just a lot of back and forth kind of brawling right now, but Shaboinker is going to go down because they're going to lose that sustain they had before, and there's that Karma laser right there, dragging it right through the whole team, having that attached to Azizo 2000 there. He's going to go down. That's a complete sweep up top for Beware Tall Grass.
That was some really good play. As we mentioned, this is what Karma can offer, a much more sustained, and you talked about the line speed debuff that also applies some damage. You can walk just right around everyone, keep your initiator still alive with that shield and heal, and they're able to take the windmill without much problem. But we are seeing a good retaliation come through, but Karma's Garrison is going to save the drill for now. Very good attempt though, coming out from amputees, realizing that there were still some people at good health up at the windmill, and they wanted to go and pressure a tower. They now catch Karma alone. It's a 3v1 for now, but they are going to have to die in the tower if they want to go for the kill. Malphite is taking a lot of tower damage. This isn't a good place to be for them as Brand shows up. Malphite is going to have to back off. No one gets hit by the Pillar of Flame just yet, but Karma's going to continue chasing. Karma also has no health, and both teams are just going to back off as we see Corki and Alistair pressuring the refinery.
And that point is neutraled, thanks in some part to those minions there. Klesto getting kind of pinched up against the wall. Sona's going to get the shutdown on him. And it looks like Deskar is going to go down afterwards. The point being neutralized helps Beware Tall Grass out a little bit. But back up at the top, they trying to make a play for it, but getting deflected once again. Holding on to 2 caps, kind of okay for the moment.
Yeah, so the towers after that neutralized, both teams are slightly reset for now. Bot lane, we see that both champions have taken a chance to go back. We see Maokai now has the full catalyst with boots and extra pots. Meanwhile, Skarner comes back with the sheen, so Skarner's damage gets bumped up quite a bit. Meanwhile, Alistair pinches Irelia up against the wall here next to the refinery. Brand a little bit too far though, so not able to capitalize onto a kill.
And Rumble was able to pick up that Storm Shield. Karma went down to try and contest it, but wasn't able to get there in time. And now with Corki and Karma in the middle, it's 2v2 up at the top there. LB Slogan getting taken down there, although the Rumble ult putting down a lot of hurt on them. It is now down for this encounter, which I think is the more vital one, as Sona does throw the crescendo out, but it's not quite able to save things. Karma speeding up that UFO there, and Azizio goes in for Deskar and isn't able to get that kill. Throws down a lot of shots with the ultimate, but still has worn them down, not quite able to get those killing blows yet. Rumble is coming back from the summoner platform now. We'll see if he's able to... Oh, not quite able to interrupt Alistar there.
Wow, that was a really close escape by Alistar. Good of Karma to show up with that shield, block that damage going directly to the champion, allowing him to escape, and Brand also coming in to scare them away. Corki and Brand are doing really good right now. They're putting out the damage they needed to. They're standing out as the carries. Irelia now shows up at the drill with less than half health. Oh wow, they swap places right away as the Blaze Surge comes out against the headbutt, and Irelia is going to get out safely for the time being. But Beware Tall Grass just has the dominant hand right now on this map. They've been holding onto that 3 cap quite steadily. Bot lane is open though. Skarner taking some time shopping at base. Gonna be a little bit delayed. Malphite should be able to get the neutralize here, but Carmen might get to disrupt it right before the final tick. There we go, the disruption comes. Skarner shows up, and they're gonna have to back off of the Boneyard.
Jigglypuff and Nautison chasing them back away from that point, but a play being made up top. We got a lot of creeps getting pushed up onto that against only 2 defenders right now, and it's really interfering with the movement for both teams actually. A defensive garrison is thrown down to save the tower there, and a good ult from Brand with the Pyroclasm bouncing very effectively there. Deskar does his best to keep Irelia out of the fight and is very successful at keeping her sectioned off from everyone else. Shaboinker is going to go down. And Azizio not being there to contribute due to Alistar's headbutt was really impacting in that engagement.
We do see Tall Grass now essentially pushing them back. Alistar gets a really good pulverize. Can he live though? No, the final tower hit. They weren't able to turn back around and capture, as both Brand and Alistar, I believe, had to cut their channel, so the cooldown most likely not up in time. Alistar does go down to the tower and they're not able to take that refinery. Meanwhile, in bot lane, during that whole fight, we did see a double kill going up for Skarner. Karma and Skarner just playing it very well. They were swapping spots, being mobile, and that's where Karma shines. You know, she has a ton of AoE, and that line, it's all about positioning. So if she's able to keep herself and her ally mobile, they're going to put out a lot of AoE damage. For Skarner has his own AoE on his Q, so they were able to take down 2 people without much of an issue.
This top point hammerhead swing around the back to check the bush is a very good move, him doing that while Sona stayed behind to cap as much as she could. Now Tasan has got the link on to Sona right there, but Alistar with a nice airborne going down there. Not Alistar, excuse me, Hammerhead's Malphite, rather, in that engagement. Deathscar getting chased down, and now, in a reversal of what happened earlier on in the game, the top is swept by amputees this time, as they put some sort of maybe fake pressure on the drill.
Yep, they are going to back off, as a lot of them had lost quite a bit of health. Damage was really spread out coming out from Beware Tall Grass, so they weren't able to capitalize on any kills. Of course, they were also slightly caught out of position, and amputees just went with it. Very, very good play, catching the momentum back in their favor. Now they have that damage buff, as the windmill was the objective for their team. We're going to see if Beware Tall Grass can come back in this game. They do still have a significant lead, about 100 points ahead and ticking down now. So they can take their time and remake a play and just catch the enemy team, maintain a 3-count win game. We do see a fight going down in the middle of the map. We see Alistar going into the head, but the Equalizer is only going to catch Corki. Corki actually Valkyrie's over to the edge of it, still takes some dot. Rumble's going to be able to finish him off, no problem. But there's Brand and Karma doing a lot of work as Alistar stands as the main tank against Irelia. And so the Rumble comes back in with health. Karma is very low, is going to escape for now with that shield. Maybe even looking to help her teammates if needed before they start teleporting right there, not to get caught by any skill shot in the brush, and that's going to end the fight. So not really anything significant happening other than, of course, Corki being taken down and Malphite being traded for that kill.
And down the bottom lane, I don't know if you caught it or not, but Metal Fender has been doing a really good job of placing those saplings in the bushes that just up and to the right of the point, scouting out for ganks there. Has been doing a pretty good job of that so far. Minions are able to help get a tower neutral up at the top, and Brand and Alistar taking on Rumble and Sona, but backup does arrive. Alistar goes down. LBG Slogan getting taken out next, and Shaboinker trying to get away, but linked up to Karma. That was not going to happen, unfortunately. Now Klesh, the subject of damage, going to Valkyrie right on over that wall, where low-flying aircraft, Azizio is engaging him right up above the point there, and Karma saving him for a moment, letting Klesh get that extra damage out. Nice play by Karma, but I don't think she's going to survive this fight.
Yeah, she is going to go down, but look at that sustain. The shutdown actually comes out with the shield AoE on top of the heal, and Karma might even be able to get the second kill here if it happens before Rumble shows up. She is in the lead, and Malphite sees this and just needs to survive until Rumble can show up. And here comes the backup. Rumble will assist in taking that down as Sona gets the shutdown credit. But that's exactly what I was talking about. Karma makes the fight absolutely deceptive for the enemy team. The shield on top of the heal is a lot of unseen sustain, and then all of her damage is AoE, and you just really don't see it because of the low cooldowns. You don't think of it as huge bursts until she gets a lot more AP. Meanwhile, Brand has been taken down to below half health in this little skirmish, trying to keep them from channeling onto that tower. It is still neutralized, and here's the ultimate, but it actually, unfortunately, only goes onto Malphite, not able to bounce in between. The Equalizer is going to catch him all alone, take down the kill. Corki also will be finished off by Irelia. Now Alistar all alone tries to use that pulverize to get away, but no dice. They're going to finish the kill and go straight back to the windmill.
You see Karma picking up a Hextech revolver, actually giving her even more sustain. And yes, with an enemy Karma on the team, Chober, you've got spot on. All of the enemy's HP is a lie with the shield, with that heal. You think you've got someone marked for death, and then all of a sudden, it's just, where did all the hit points come from?
Yep, and especially with cooldown being such a big factor on the Crystal Scar, Karma could shine quite well. The cooldown affecting how often she can get her mantra, her ultimate, as it might be. so that she can get those extra abilities added on to her 3 to begin with. That's going to allow her to get those heals. That's going to allow her to get that AoE damage with the shield. And the sooner it comes up, the better it is for the entire team. We do see Bjortolgrass trying to go for another initiate. They do separate Aurelia, but Aurelia jumps right through Alistar with that Blade Surge. And here comes the Pyroclast once again. This is a really good ultimate for Brand. Another good player, a Pillar of Flame, going to help take down Aurelia. Aurelia has taken away Karma though, and that's going to be quite devastating for those Bjortolgrass. Corki's still alive at good health, trying to pull away Sona as Brand and Alistar are trying to fight off Malphite, quite tanky, but they have forced him to begin the run. Corki has turned around alongside Brand, trying to push up this minion wave. If they can get it up, they might be able to pressure the windmill, but you see Aurelia coming through. There is Brand taking off the kill away from Malphite, and Sona also going down, but Aurelia shows up, gets the slow, and now just trying to make sure that they don't channel it fully. They want to keep that defender's advantage up here at the windmill for amputees, and the minion wave is doing so much work. The neutralize goes down. Malphite is coming up. Can they finish the channel? A new wave is there, but no one's going to be able to channel into the tower as the fight continues. There's an absolutely elongated skirmish, and red team gets belted under the equalizer and under the skill shots of amputees. They're going to be able to take back the windmill with no problem.
Down at the bottom, Jigglypuff keeps pressing Maokai up against that tower. Maokai really hasn't been able to get out away from that tower. He's been kept kind of back up against it. But with the tower still under his team's control, that is okay. Aurelia up at the top in that last engagement did not have her ultimate available to her, which was unfortunate. Things might have, she might have been able to pick off that Corki a little bit quicker up there in that engagement. But now Tassan getting caught over by the Speed Shrine there, retreating very quickly back to the tower, taking all of Aurelia's ultimate there, so she's not going to have that to use. Nice ultimate by Sona, hitting the entire enemy team with it. Great shot by her, but Rumble is stuck out in front. He's in the middle of the entire team, eating all of that focus, not quite able to survive through it, and now Sona's got to defend the top by herself.
That's not a place you want to be. A lot of the revives had been used last fight. We see 3 people bolting for the tower itself right away. Karma going ahead and dueling Sona, knowing that the shield is going to give her that edge, and just pushes Sona away, zones her out. Sona's going to back off. It's a very smart move. Don't want to risk your life at this point without revive available. Just let them take the tower and you can try to make a comeback for it. All this time, we have the Bjortolgrass, who had a slight lead, and they're now back on top, being able to extend it a little bit further.
Coming up from the bottom now, Amputees is wanting to make a play for this. Azizia wisely going up to check that top. Malphite coming over the wall with the unstoppable force there to get that airborne, sweeping out down from that and onto the tower. They retreat onto it to try and get that defender's advantage, but it's really not enough of an advantage to make them win that fight. Corki, I feel like he's going to dive in for Rumble, but isn't able to get the kill off with a single shot there. And seeing some pings going down in various areas of the map. Aurelia is breaking off for that Speed Shrine. Corki heading down to the bottom. Are we going to see those ganks that I was alluding to earlier? It looks like we are. There's the looking for the suppress, maybe Skarner? Nope, he's getting Maokai is throwing down his ultimate there, decreasing the damage that he's taken. There's the suppress, drag him off at that point, was waiting for him to be in good position for that. Maokai does go down. Now No God tries Science trying to defend, but getting taken out as well. The point's going to go neutral, and now Sona is trying to keep it neutral, but I don't think she's going to be able to pull it off. No God Try Science is back, and they aren't able to stop before it is picked up. The quest objective picked up, going to give them that damage boost as well. Sona landing a nice ultimate there, stunning both of the forward champs, but Kless kind of out of range for it. Now Shaboinker getting shaboinked away from Alistar with the headbutt there. He's pursued across the map. The top, however, was a successful push by Beware Tall Grass up the top. Now Tassan and LBG Sloan was able to take down the defenders there and take the top point. They are now up with 4 points and a quest buff for a period of time longer.
If Corki's still caught alone down here at the quarry, he needs to back. Oh wow, the SO of course catches him at the very edge of that ability, leading to that shutdown, going to Malphite, that's definitely a huge consolation for amputees as they start moving back on up towards the top portion of the map. They get the Corey back, and it's back to a standard 3-2 cap situation. As you mentioned, Gortogress still has the lead though, so amputees needs to start making some plays here and there. We are going down to the later portion of the game. We want bot lane. It's a 2v1 once again. They're trying to pressure down this Maokai. They've realized the top has been a little bit difficult, and they're trying to take away Maokai, but Maokai's still alive. There's the Ignite. It's not going to be enough to finish him just yet. He actually jumps into Skarner with that Twisted Advance. That's going to lead to the kill. Meanwhile, Rumble is fighting off. Wow, look at that damage coming out from Flame Spitter and that overheat. Melee attack doing so much top lane. We see Aurelia goes down. Corki trying to stay alive, but the Crescendo is going to pick up the kill. Crescendo does do some good burst damage, so not to be discounted as just a stun.
Now, Brand coming up from the bottom. LBG Sloan's putting out a little bit of damage with that Pillar of Flame there, but he's kind of opting to wait to push until his teammate Karma arrives, and Karma begins the cap on the tower, but is kind of knocked away by the Seismic Shard from Maokai there. A little bit back and forth damage. Neither one of the teams really committing to pushing up on it. And Azizio making that dive in for Sloan. The Unstoppable Force comes down from Maokai. They really want to get Sloan down, but Alistar gets himself mixed up in the fight as well and is able to save his teammate there. Now Brand, though, a little bit low on mana, but he's got a lot to contribute to this fight still with the Pillar of Flame. Again, Lumble's throwing down. That's a very good ultimate. Really shuts off a large portion of the tower there. Now Tassan is HP is a lie.
Wow.
Very good lie. Karma does go down, unfortunately. No God Tries Science is just trying to kite delay. Painkiller survival method, more delay. He's going to go ahead and get out of the way.
Yep, I mean, they are going to take the tower, but very good of No God Try Science to kind of kite them around the top, delaying it a little bit, as you said. And Karma, unfortunately, the Flame Spitter had been activated, so eventually goes down. But again, living a lot longer than you would expect, coming back up to, 300, 400 health at about 10, 50. It's just absolutely deceiving, and even if you get the kill, you have to spend that extra time than you calculated. It's going to lead to a lot of miscalculations coming out from amputees in team fights. They're going to think, hey, we can just burst Karma down first. No, you get the shield, you get the heal, she comes back with the cooldowns. It's just not what you can count on, so maybe it might just be better for them to spread out the damage until someone gets lower, and then all jump into that one person. Don't give an easy job to Karma to see who she needs to put her shield and health or heal on. Make it so that she has to pick and choose, and we do see amputees setting up. We have Rumble and Aurelia in the brush. They're trying to wait for this split up, and they're going to split. Viewer Togress absolutely well equalizing, goes right onto Alistar. There's the Pyro Clap coming up from Brand is a good Unstoppable Force. The fight is spread out, but Viewer Togress, yes, Brand eventually goes, and Karma is still alive alongside Corki and Alistar. This is looking really good for Viewer Togress. They managed this fight quite well. Malphite is zoning out Corki alone. Corki needs to watch out. Corki will go down to that ground slam, while Sona is now fighting Karma and Alistar. Alistar tries to go for the headbutt, but it's going to just allow her to go into the brush and give her that escape. They're both kiting back and forth. Karma now trying to kite Malphite as Alistar fights off Sona. I don't think this is going to come to any clear result. Yeah, both teams are going to back off, but what you think of that team fight?
That last engagement, Sona being able to drop down the Crescendo there, and Rumble immediately following it up with the Equalizer on the exact same spot was a nice combo. Unfortunately, it really didn't do the damage that they needed there. There was a really good job of keeping Corki zoned out of the fight, which really decreased his ability to make war, but there's an engagement going on up at the top here now. Azizio 2K and No God Try Science up there. Shboinker coming in from the side. They're trying to make a move on that point. Things not going so well for them. Alistar is able to get Azizio down. No God Try Science is going to have to back off again. They saw an opportunity where it was 3v2, but they didn't know that they had another teammate right behind them, which was going to turn into a 3v3. A little bit of an ugly skirmish up there. Corki going for the Storm Shield. I was saying that last engagement is that they did a really good job of keeping Corki zoned out away from the fight, but Corki just ran out of mana so fast. He was relying on his somewhat slower AA to really do that damage. And later half of the fight, even though he was zoned out, there was a lot of damage that he just wasn't really doing anyway at that point. Karma seeing Malphite in the middle there, in that tall grass. Karma with that Hextech Sweeper, and Corki having his that one ability, the Phosphorus Bomb. Seen Corki using that Phosphorus Bomb a lot this game, just pre-scout bushes as he approaches them. We got Jigglypuff Skarner getting caught down at the bottom, but over at the refinery, we also have Azizio getting caught 1v3. Both teams kind of being brought together for what looks like it's shaping up to be a 5v5.
Yeah, and we do see Malphite going with that unstoppable force. They will finish off the kills of Corki, and that's devastating for Brotorgas. They need to back out at this point. Skarner has brought down Maokai quite low, but Maokai now puts down his ultimate, going to drag him out of there. Such a good, patient use of that ability, that impale, making sure that they can pull him out of that damage reduction. Rumble now actually forced to run away, despite the heals coming up from Zona. Skarner is doing so much work here for Brotorgas. He is just living infinitely with his own shield on top of Karma's, doing so much AoE damage. They're going to turn right back around, but Maokai has come back alongside Aurelia with full health. This is going to be a clean sweep for amputees if they can chase all the way. They want to make sure not to lose sight of the tower, though we do see Maokai going up there alongside Malphite. They're going to start channeling onto that windmill as Skarner gets caught by Aurelia and Rumble. We have Corki and Brand showing up top, trying to maybe help Karma, but they decide it's not the best idea. Actually, Corki's going to go down bot because of that medium wave. Brand has still stayed top, but there's no protection for him. He's going to go down to the hands of Rumble and Aurelia, but look at that Pyroclasm. Does so much damage, and that's going to allow Karma to delay the enemies just a little bit longer, but no mana, and the Equalizer, great placement. They're going to pick up that kill, and amputees will be able to take back the windmill at only 32 Nexus health.
Karma, MVP of that last engagement, her damage shield synchronized up with Skarner's damage shield was absolutely invaluable in the last engagement, and Skarner's ability to chase and him being able to stay active on the map so long. Karma didn't die until she ran out of mana. I feel as if Karma still had mana, she would have still been delaying up top until they were able to land some really good burst to shut her down. Duskscar coming up to the top now, and he's just kind of making his presence known, waiting for his teammates to get caught up there. Down at the bottom, Sona and Maokai deflecting a play from Skarner there. Kless got that phosphorus bomb out. There's a sapling over there to give some vision on that side. And they push up for the top there. Duskscar landing a nice airborne on that engagement. No God tries science, taking a lot of damage up front there. But Kless getting blown up. His HP absolutely disappearing right there. So he's not going to have any contribution to this fight now. Now Tassan getting focused. They really want to get Karma down because they've seen what Karma can do if she's left alive. LBG Sloan was backed out of the fight, waiting for his cooldowns to refresh, came back in, but was not able to get a second round of them off, and Duskscar's going for a Zizio 2000, but he's not able to find Aurelia where he wants to. Aurelia's just kind of hanging back. She doesn't want to get into a position where she can get taken down by Ali. And yeah, she's going to go ahead. Aurelia's going to recall there. Someone's still fighting up top, and oh, she's going to make that dash over for the KB right there, waiting for the exact time when she knew she could take him out, as opposed to putting herself at risk.
Very, very well played by Aurelia and Sona together, giving that extra heal and then jumping right over as Sona got pushed over. Aurelia would have lost vision had she waited even half a second longer, but the lingering vision allowed her to jump over with that blade surge. Very well played. We see the Warthogras coming back with a vengeance up to the windmill. They know they can try to finish this game as soon as possible. They're going to get the neutralize. That's really good news. There's the equalizer. That's going to force Corki to jump off of that channel. It's going to delay the tower channel and continue the fight as the crescendo doesn't hit anyone. Corki has started channeling, but now returns to the fight. A great pyroclasm, but Corki once again getting just decimated by amputees, and now Brandon is alone trying to put out the damage. Alistar doing a good job of healing, but the tower does go down to the Warthogras. They just need to try to delay this. Wow, Karma getting shut down with only about 100 health. There's the shield to save Brand, and they're gonna chase away Sona. Karma once again doing the work she needs to. Brand also doing a very good job of moving back into tower range as the tower gets taken. Karma will get shot by Sona's Q right there, the long range, picking off that kill, and now Alistar's alone trying to defend this tower. There's 18 points left on the enemy's nexus. Alistar not going to be able to survive for that long. Will go down. Malphite will get a clear channel. The rest of amputees also joining in to channel as soon as possible. It's going to go down to 13 to 102 at this point. In favor still of Warthogras, but it's getting a little bit scary.
MVP minions in that last engagement, kicking that tower over while the fight was going on. Kless able to get that Storm Shield uncontested, but it looks like we have a gank going on down the bottom lane right now. They know they only need a few points to win it, so they're making a dive in here from Maokai, but Maokai is extremely durable, especially when he's within the Maelstrom. Skarner trying to drag him out, but Maokai is just too well rooted for that. Hammerhead comes down with the unstoppable force to get that airborne off. Maokai finally goes down there, but the point is only neutral. Hammerhead duking it out with Jigglypuff, whose HP is only a suggestion as he boosts it up with the damage shield right there. The point is neutral. Sona cutting around back for a back cap, but Brand is right there. She's really only doing that to force Brand away from Malphite. And over by the drill right now, No God, Try Science, and Azizio are getting caught. And if they get swept, it looks like they're not going to get swept. They might be able to get away from that. They're going to be able to get back up to the top, but they've taken a lot of extra damage while they were out on the map. It's going to make it really hard for them to defend that point now.
Look at that burst damage coming out from Irelia onto that Corki, but they will turn it right back around as Alistar turns to be that tank, to be that healer for Corki. Corki now doing some good damage. Irelia is still alive, but the Pyroclast will finish that fight off as we see Sona and Malphite coming up. Can they hold this point? Can they defend against 4 people? We have Corki at low health, so this is going to need to watch out. Just clearing that wave. Sabo, of course, comes down on top of that crescendo. A little bit stacked, so Brand's going to walk right back out. We see Karma starting to channel. The tower is neutralized. Minions are beating on it. A fresh wave is coming up. This is in favor of Royal They're going to be able to finish off this fight and hold on to the windmill as no one is heading up. Revives are all down on amputees, and Beware Tallgrass should be the victor of this round 1 matchup.
Being pressed out towards the drill like they were, taking off that extra damage when they weren't near their point. I just feel like that was not necessarily the greatest move. Skarner gets his kill finally on Maokai that he's been looking for solo all game. Gets the neutral off on that. This game is going to go to Beware Tallgrass defeating amputees in the round of 16. DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number